When you walk around a casino, it's amazing just how many different games that gamblers have to choose from. So why is it that out of all these choices that the MIT card counting team chose blackjack as its prime target? The reason is blackjack is unique compared to most other casino games, and it provides gamblers the best chance to turn the odds in their favor. Now, when I was recruited to join the MIT team, it was a startup company called Strategic Investments, a limited partnership with three founding partners who were also the managers of the team. I'll refer to these three people as Mr. M, Johnny C, and Bill. Mr. M and Johnny C had graduated from MIT some years earlier, and Bill was an alum of Harvard Business School. The three of them had devised an extraordinary plan and successfully raised capital to launch their business venture. The goal of strategic investments was to recruit MIT students and train them to become advantage players. What is an advantage player? An advantage player is someone who legally gains an edge over the house by using knowledge and skill. This is very different as compared to a cheater who uses illegal means such as marking the cards or colluding with the dealer to alter the outcome of the game. Now, in order to become a successful advantage player, you have to have a good grasp of the concept of house edge. Now, just about everyone is familiar with the term, and although most people might have problems defining it, we all know that it's a very real and a very powerful thing. All of the lavish casino properties around the world are undeniable evidence of the fact that they don't build casinos out of winners. Now, as powerful as the house edge is, its definition is actually quite simple. It's the percentage of money wagered by gamblers that the house will win over the long run. This is all driven by mathematics, based on the rules, payouts, and probabilities of each game. Now, the managers of strategic investments knew the importance of not only quantifying the house edge, but also identifying its nature. What I mean by this is the house edge static or dynamic. Now, virtually all casino games have house edges that are static, meaning that they remain constant and unchanging over time and rounds of play. And the reason for this is that these types of games are based on independent events. In independent event-based games, the probability of what happens next has nothing to do with what's happened in the past. Just as with flipping a coin, the odds remain constant no matter the prior outcomes. To help us gain an even better understanding of house edge, imagine this scenario. You're going to Vegas this weekend, and one of your best friends who can't join you asks you to place a $100 roulette bet on lucky number 7. Let's take a quick look at what the odds and expected outcome of this bet are. First, let's determine what's the probability that we will actually win the bet. Well, given a 00 roulette wheel, there are 38 possible outcomes. Given that there's only one 7 in a roulette wheel, the odds of us winning are simply 1 out of 38. Since there are no ties in roulette, that means the other 37 outcomes will result in us losing our wager. So the odds of losing are 37 out of 38. When we compare these two odds, we can clearly see that the odds of losing are 37 times greater than our odds of winning. This means that mathematically, the fair payout would be 37 to 1. A 37 to 1 payout would mean that we would break even over time with neither the house or the player having the advantage. From an advantage player perspective, a payout greater than 37 to 1 is a winning proposition and a profitable game. On the flip side, a payout of less than 37 to 1 is a losing game and one that an advantage player would never play. So what is the actual casino payout on a single number bet? It's 35 to 1. And not surprisingly, it's less than the break-even threshold. This generates a house edge of 5.26%. Now that we know the house edge, we can determine the expected outcome by simply taking our $100 wager and multiplying that by minus 5.26%. This yields an expected loss of $5.26. Now, of course, we can't actually lose $5.26 on one $100 roulette bet, but over the long run, that's what the average outcome is going to come out to be. This is the powerful mathematical engine that lies unseen under the hood of every casino game and drives the multi-billion-dollar casino industry. Now, there are many roulette players who have their systems where they keep track of where the ball has landed, believing that this will help them predict where it will land next. Unfortunately for them, they're wasting their time and money because roulette is a game based on independent events. For every spin of the wheel, there will always be 38 total possible outcomes for a double zero roulette. And every time players wager a single number bet, the odds of winning will always be 1 out of 38. Since roulette has odds that are locked in the house's favor, that means that there's no skill whatsoever. There's no such thing as a good or a bad roulette player. All roulette players are going to lose at the same rate equivalent to the house advantage. Now let's turn to the game of blackjack. Imagine that you've just sat down at a single deck blackjack table. A complete deck has 52 cards, 4 suits of 2 through ace. After a new shuffle, you see in the very first round that 4 aces have come out. Then you notice that the player to your left pushes out a huge bet for the next round. An interesting question is, what are the odds of getting blackjack at this point? Well, since all the aces have come out and not be returning until a new shuffle, the odds of getting dealt a blackjack drop to 0. Unfortunately, this fellow blackjack player chose a very bad time to push out a big bet. This illustrates how blackjack is a game based on dependent events. As the cards come out, they provide information about the cards that remain. The probability of what happens next is based on what's happened in prior rounds. This creates a dynamic house edge which constantly fluctuates up and down. Now, most of the time, the house edge in blackjack is going to favor the casino. But there are times when the advantage will swing into the player's favor, and an advantage player can identify those opportunities and capitalize accordingly. Now, with strategic investments, we certainly knew the mathematics and the strategies that could make us winners. But that was only part of the equation. You also have to have the skills to be able to apply those strategies effectively in real-world casino conditions. This is why strategic investments had a training program, a series of blackjack skill tests that we called checkouts. The team would meet twice a week to practice and administer these checkouts. As with all new recruits, my important first step was to master the foundation of professional blackjack. And in part 5 of this series, you'll learn all about a blackjack player's most powerful ally, a strategy that takes a huge bite out of the house advantage.